Alrighty, so I think I'm gonna do a quick guide here on just how farming works in this game because it's so basic, but the game doesn't really tell you much, and it's really easy to do when you are out there doing anything, whether it be trading or fishing or grinding mobs for XP. So basically all you need is some contribution. This guy, for example, sells a strong fence you can rent from him. That being said, I don't have the contribution required right now. I've spent too much contribution, but it requires 10 for a small fence. And then there's like a medium fence and a small fence. Small fence, I believe, only allows like one plot of stuff.
You're not a crybaby. You're crying
I forget. I
because you
think
are
it costs like
dumped.
1 to 3 contribution.
If there's anything
The
wrong,
medium fence, I believe,
please
is
tell me.
6, and yeah, I think it allows you to have 7 things planted in it.
I didn't marry you because
But
we're poor.
all you need is a
I
fence.
guess they're having problems
And,
again with the Zeons regarding the street.
There are a number of NPCs throughout all the towns that you can rent them from. So just
I have a disease.
Don't worry,
rent
sis.
fence
I'll
thing.
take care of our
Come to this
characters.
guy over here in Heidel.
Now.
And then I will show you, I've got some farms set up over here, how all this works. So basically, you will want to find a plot of land that doesn't have any farms already up. So you may, if it's crowded or whatever and you like a spot, try checking different channels. If you transfer channels, the farms will go with you, so they can overlap with other farms then, but you can't place a farm on top of somebody else's farm. And then obviously you're gonna need some seeds to start the planting. In theory, you also need stuff like water and fertilizer, but really you don't need to use that stuff. It does help if you're looking for like a maximum yield to use water and fertilizer, but it's really not a big deal unless you're just looking to really actively farm, in which case I recommend having at least 5 farms so you always have something to do. Alright, I've got 3 farms here. This is a medium plot and these 2 are large plots, and I am over here. So there's these filters on the map that can help you with farming if you care, such as groundwater. So you can see that this area has a decent amount of groundwater. Temperature information. This is relevant to some types of all crops. They have relevant temperatures they like. And humidity. All of these things are relevant to growing. Generally speaking, though, the most important is the groundwater, followed by the temperature. Generally, a lot of crops are going to do good in the green. A few are going to do terrible in the yellow. So here we have the stuff going on here. So as these crops grow, they get various percentages going on, and you can just ignore them if you want, or you can prune them if they get red, or they need to be pruned, or insects are on them. Basically what that does is it does a slight amount of damage to the overall health of the crop, and it dramatically increases the time it takes the crop to reach 100%. Again, if you're just growing crops as a side effect to try to make some extra cash, doing sunflower crates, which I'll talk about in a bit, or doing carrots for your horses, or doing like wheat or barley for beer brewing rather than using workers, it doesn't really matter. I like to come and clean them off to raise my farming skill. Farming skill plays a small impact on crop yield, not a huge amount. It does impact the type of stuff you get for pruning and stuff. Definitely increases your chances of getting good items. You can get these from growing crops. You can also get these from harvesting anything, fishing, chopping down trees, mining, whatever. Yeah, so you can look on the map and oops, bow map. It shows you where your crops are by this icon, and you can just mouse over it and it shows you your crops. Now, because I have them all stacked, it's kind of hard to see all of them, so it's easier for me to actually use this icon because I can look at the individual crops. There we go. And see what their current health is at, and if they need to be pruned or whatnot. So, generally speaking, if a crop gets to 100% and you're looking to harvest it for things other than seeds, you want to harvest it at 100% or as close to past 100% as you can. If you're looking to harvest it for seeds, the longer it matures, the better. Crops can mature up to 200%. So if you're looking to get extra seeds rather than just the seed you planted, it can be a decent idea to let it continue to mature. You have a chance to, when you're to level crops. So like this is special barley, which is blue quality, but like this is a regular carrot and this is a special carrot. So if I go to harvest seeds from this regular carrot, there's a chance that I'll get a higher tier seed, and you will always yield the same quality seed that you started with. So this special carrot will always give me special carrot seeds. So you can start with the cheapest quality seeds if you want, or just buy the expensive seeds to start with. So some of the purposes of farming are obviously if you want to cook, farming helps a lot because there's a lot of cooking requirements that you would need to have your workers scattered about for. So if you don't have tons of CP to connect large CP paths for your workers to go gather lots of various ingredients, you might want to farm if you want to cook. It also allows you to produce alchemy components. So again, if you don't have tons of workers going already and you need a number of different alchemy things like silver azalea and whatnot, you can, sunrise herbs, you can grow them, and you can grow better quality ones too. So that helps you, use less if you're doing cooking or alchemy. For horse training, if you just want to have a massive supply of carrots, growing carrots can be very useful. And then for trading, the special sunflower crates have an okay value, and they're fairly light, and so they're pretty good for leveling your trading and making you a decent amount of cash kind of passively, because you can just plant tons of sunflowers and then just produce the crates later on with your workers and then sell them at a trade vendor. But that's pretty much it. I mean, you really don't have to hang out around this place at all. Like, I could just let it sit. The fences will stay connected to your account, so if you log off, the crops will not grow while you're logged off. They'll start growing the moment you log back in, and your fences will reappear the moment you log back in. If you don't log in for 7 days, your fences will be recovered and put in the nearest storage. But yeah, show up whenever to harvest your stuff and let it be. But farming itself is kind of a slow skill to level. it's isn't necessarily like an awesome skill for what it gives you as you level it. So you know, don't expect your farming to go up overnight. Just doing this, you would really need 5 to 10 farms to actively be farming all the time and pouring in water and fertilizer. Oh, yeah, so you want to do that. You can get this like basic information look like here of what is going on by opening up your farming menu on the center of the farm, and you can see just that's how you place the stuff down. You can also place down these other things which aren't overly useful. There's scarecrows which you can construct that scare off insects, and then there's irrigation systems which help to keep the place irrigated and all the plants hydrated. And you can check the individual plants themselves, see how they're doing, so you can see their health, their moisture, temperature, whether or not it's in the ideal range, humidity, whether or not it's in the ideal range, their water levels, how long it's going to take for the plant to reach maturity, assuming it doesn't need to be pruned or insects need to be killed. So yeah, if you're trying to actively farm, you want to pay attention to those numbers. Like this plant right here isn't happy, like the temperature's off. They'll grow slower and they won't be quite as good. But again, it's really just a skill that you can kind of very passively do. And if you want, you can just leave a character by your plants, and so if you feel like pruning them, just log onto the character really quickly and prune them, and then go back to your grinding. So that is all. Unfortunately, none of my plants are ready to be harvested, but a little menu pops up over here to harvest them, or down here to get their seeds instead. You can only do one or the other. So typically speaking, you want to try to keep all of your farms fully populated. So harvest seeds first until you start getting some bonus seeds, and then harvest the crops, unless you're just buying seeds and then harvesting crops. So I think that's about it.